Welcome to Amalgam Hour, the moving comic podcast. I'm Robin.
I'm done.
Yay, we actually got there. Okay, today we're going to be discussing our favourite horror movies. Well, I say favourite. Dan, explain. Dan
I watch many horror movies.
Yeah.
That's
Dan.
basically the general sum up of it.
Yeah. So for me, if you've watched any of our ranked videos, we always have S tier. All these films for me will be S tier. So the best films, I will watch them repeatedly. They don't always have to be the best, like a lot of mine. Because if like someone else watched them, they'd be maybe like, what the fuck is this? Then with me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll watch them every single day. I love them. And then with you, Dan, you can just rank them as we go if you like.
Yeah, mine's just between A and B, to be honest.
Yeah. Mine's just S, 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 banger after banger after banger. There you go.
And I haven't seen any.
That's true. You'll not have seen a single one of these. Go on, Dan. You can go first, though. Kick us off.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
I do the intros.
Look at my list I made 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Because Dan knows how to prepare.
Yeah. Okay. You gotta trust me on this one, okay? Because I know nobody else probably likes it.
I already don't trust you.
I don't even want to say it.
Just say it, you smart.
Got Freddy versus Jason, yeah.
Nah, I love that film. Go on.
It's so bad, but it's like...
Yeah, this is going to be one of the few occasions when we can both have a conversation about it. Because I really do like that film. I don't...
It's just like... The story sucks, and the characters suck.
I do not care about those characters. I do not care about the story. So the first half is a drag, except from the few scenes where Freddie deals with Jason and some of Jason's kills and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But then, like, as soon as Freddie comes into the real world, that film gets great. Go on, this is your film. Don't let me take it over.
Yeah.
Why do you like it?
It's got my favourite Jason kill in it.
Oh, well, which is your favourite? Now you have to
The
tell
one
me.
where he kills the guy in the bed.
Oh, and he folds him in half. And he doesn't spill his beer at all. Oh, that's a great kill. It's probably got one of...
It sounds so bad.
No, it's a great kill. My other favourite kill happens off screen, but it's when the boy walks over to his dad, he taps him, and then the dad's head rolls off of his own neck and blood spills everywhere. Oh, yes. Okay. That's definitely not S for me, but even though it's bad, it's still great.
A solid. Yeah.
It's an actually solid
you got what
film.
you signed up for.
I wish there was more, though, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Freddy doesn't do much. He kills about 2 people.
Yeah, but that's a whole plot in it. Jason stealing his kills and stuff. But I think it still works. I want to watch that film now.
Well, okay, we're going to quickly pause. We're going to go record a commentary and we'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll go and quickly watch it. And it's probably got one of my favourite scenes in any film. When the woman grabs Freddy and brings him into the real world. And then Freddy slowly turns around. And there's just Jason. And then all you hear... And like a heavy rock soundtrack plays, and you see Robert Englund's face just drop in horror.
That's the peak in his acting career.
Bro, it's so good. And I'm like, since when did Freddy know how to fight? He's doing like karate moves, kicks, and
that film has a problem with launching people across rooms as well.
Bro, I love it. I don't even care. I love
a slight tap with a knife and they're just flying.
Jason grabs Freddy by the face and just pushes him through every single window in this cabin. All the way through. Oh, I love that film.
It's not even a horror film, really.
It isn't. But like...
It's under like genre because of the characters, but...
Yeah. Oh, I do like that film. That's like a guilty pleasure film where it's like, oh yeah, I have to watch this.
Yeah,
you know,
I gotta be honest. That was my first introduction to those characters.
I think, I think I watched
because when I was starting to watch it was the only one on Netflix.
I think I watched a documentary about Jason Voorhees before I watched a Jason Voorhees movie, so it doesn't matter, you know. I watched a 17-hour documentary on him. Like,
Jesus
it's okay.
Christ!
But that film, mwah. That's just a beautiful film, that is. For
Yeah.
just no reason other than it's just pure fun. You know?
Yeah.
The
It's
film,
like, you know it's going to be stupid going into it.
yeah, and it's like Jason takes off Freddy's arm and stabs Freddy with it, and Jason takes his Freddy gets his machete and stabs Jason with it. And then they both drop to the floor. Jason goes in the water, and then the woman goes,
Yeah.
"Welcome to my world, bitch!" And it lobs Freddy's head off. And
Yeah, and then Jason walks out and Freddy winks at the camera.
I know. I'm just like, oh, that is just such a good fight.
And then nothing's happened in those franchises since.
I know. Oh, did you know that film was meant to bring in the Evil Dead and like
Jesus Christ?
Because in comics, it's a lot more. Like you see Ash
Yeah.
Williams and the Evil Dead. I've seen. Do you know in the comic Deceased?
Yeah.
Ash Williams is in one of those comics. Like Ash Williams is in everything, and I would have loved to seen him in that film.
Yeah.
Like instead of all these main characters, get them all out the fucking way.
Just
Bring
have
in
Ash Williams.
Bruce Campbell. Just bring him in, put him in a blue t-shirt, and give him a shotgun. That's all you need. And
then Jason can walk out the water with two heads.
Or he's the one who's like, "Welcome to my world," and then revs his chainsaw hand, and then just slowly cuts through Freddy's neck. Oh, that's what I want to see. Oh, so good.
God. We're not talking about the film anymore.
Oh, come on. Can we just make this a Freddy versus Jason podcast? I think I'll allow it. No.
We're rebranding.
There's some like scenes earlier on that's good. Like Jason in the cornfield. You know? Where some
and he's just going through him.
The guy like sets him on fire and then it's just
yeah, and he sets the entire cornfield on fire as well.
Just walking through a cornfield with a machete. And the only way he puts himself out is because he goes to stab someone, they dive out the way, and he stabs a keg of beer, and that slowly just puts him out. And I'm like, oh, this film's great.
Yeah. That scene's great too, because it sets up the final battle.
Exactly.
Freddy gets pissed.
Yeah. And then
that poor woman running for her life from Freddy Krueger then gets murdered by Jason.
I know, I'm like, yo.
That's just rough.
Like, your life just ended quickly. And then Freddy going, "No!" As he just Jason Voorhees stole his kill in Black Ops, and Freddy was not happy about it. You know? It was team team deathmatch, and then someone stole his kill, and he's just not happy about it. Oh. And it's like this. It makes the scene where Freddy is playing Pamela Voorhees.
Oh yeah,
that's just a solid scene. And then
that's just a mess with Jason's head.
Yeah, and to bring him back and stuff. But I'm like,
because we're in hell at the start of that film.
Yeah. None of those characters I care about. The side characters. I think the only one I care about is the cop in it. I'm pretty sure.
I forgot there was a cop in it.
And I'm pretty sure he dies by Jason grabbing hold of him and then stabbing his machete into a computer console. That electrifies them both. And then Jason lets go of the other guy, takes his machete out, and then carries on walking through. Just God.
Jason's just a straight up dead person walking at this point.
Yeah. There's no eye.
He stopped being human, in part 5.
He stopped being human in part 2 when he first appeared, okay? Because that kid drowned in a lake. Okay? Oh, maybe... Oh. We need to make a podcast video talking about crossovers in comics and all of this, and we'll definitely talk about the Jason Voorhees ones and the Freddy and... Because there's a comic, Jason Voorhees versus Jason X. Do you know when Jason went to space?
Oh yeah, that film was so bad.
It is. It really is. There's a robot with nipples that falls off, and
yeah. Apart from that one brutal kill with the head going in the ice whatever thing,
and then just smashing it on the ground and that one guy who he's like, "Oh no, Jason just wanted his machete back," and he turns his back on Jason with a machete and goes, "It's okay, guys. He just wanted his weapon." And then Jason Voorhees just cleaves him in half. It's like, get up.
Everyone else is like, You dumbass.
Yeah, everyone else is panicking.
It's like
Jason's
you
just like,
this man's killing everybody. He throws his machete back. What do you think he's gonna do with his machete?
It's not a nice mantelpiece, is it? He's not going to hang it up on his cabin. Jesus Christ. Okay, I guess I'll talk about one of my films.
Yeah, go on.
Otherwise, we're going to be here all day discussing it.
It literally is gonna become a Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah. Okay, what should I talk about first? Dan, choose a number between 1 and 7.
6.
Okay, there's a film, yeah, which in the UK it's called Roadkill. In America, it's called Joyride. It's got Paul Walker.
Still never heard of it.
I'll describe it to you, don't worry. It's about two brothers who they're on a road trip, obviously, to go collect a girl. And
yeah.
They get a RC truck radio put into their car. You know? And they start talking to people. They start talking to people pretending to be truckers and stuff. And then Paul Walker's brother goes, "Oh yeah, you know how to do a woman voice. Pretend to be someone. Go on." And he quickly throws on him, and then he's like, and then Paul Walker starts communicating to this trucker as Candy Cane. That's her trucker name. And it's like, oh yeah. And then they go to a motel, and a guy was a dick to them on the way in. So they pretend to be Candy Cane, and they say, "Hey, trucker, come to the room of the dickhead," without telling him, obviously, "and bring a thing of pink champagne." And then they wait to see, and they're in like the room next door, so they're looking through the windows, they're listening to the walls, and then a truck comes up. And then you hear the guy go, "What the hell do you want?" And then you just hear a huge crash, and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then the next day, police are there because the guy from next door was found 23 miles away without a jaw.
Jesus Christ.
And the only thing that was left in that room is a bottle of pink champagne. And I'm just like,
wait a minute.
What?
He went there to bring us. How did he end up 23 miles away with no jaw?
Because he took him into his truck and left. And tortured him all the way to just leave, you know?
Jesus.
And then they're just like, oh my god. So they just get in they get in their car and drive. They're like, "No, thank you." And then all of a sudden, the RC radio comes on, and all they hear is Candy Cane, Candy Cane, and he sounds just like that, and it is haunting. It is every time you hear Candy Cane, it just sends a shiver down your spine.
Christ.
You know? Yeah. I'm like, this is just going to be talking about the film for the ones you don't know. Just me describing it and the best parts of the film. And then they quickly grab the radio and like, we're sorry. Like, it was just a prank. It's just a prank, bro. And then the guy's like, he's like, "Oh yeah, no, don't worry, I found it funny." Then they're like, "Oh, okay." And then the final line he says is, "You should really get your tail light fixed." And then they turn around and there's about 4 trucks all on the road behind them. Oh my god, it is a great film. And they start driving their ass off. And at one point, they stop off at a gas station and a trucker stops and they think that it's him. So they quickly leave and then the trucker starts chasing them. And you're like, oh my god, what for? And then they finally get stuck on a tree. And then the truck driver comes out and goes, "Oh no, you left your card at the register."
Yeah.
So it's a big sigh of relief, and then you hear vroom, vroom. And so the truck is parked, yeah, that one trucker's truck. He finally gets into it, and then you see it get blown up as a truck comes barreling through it. And you're like, oh my god. And it slams the car up against a tree. And they start grabbing the radio. It's like, we're sorry. And then he goes, "Ha ha ha, that's all I wanted to hear was an apology." And then drives away. And you're just like, what just happened?
Okay. Yeah.
And then
is that how it ends?
No. They go and pick up the girl and they throw out the RC radio. They toss it out the window. They're like, "No, thank you."
Yeah.
And then they go to a bar, all of this stuff. A couple of scenes later, they're driving down the road, and then the brother starts seeing, like, do you know road signs? And he says, one says "hey," the next one says "you," the next one says their name, and then the next one says "look in the trunk." And you're just watching them go past, and you're reading it, and you're like, oh my god. You're like, oh no. They look in the trunk, and the RC radio is sat in there. And you're just oh my god, no. And they plug it back in. And it's like, and the first thing they hear, candy cane. And you're like, oh my god, please go away. Please go away. And then the girl gets kidnapped, and she gets put into a motel. And it's a great scene where the one guy goes round the front and the other guy goes behind the back. And the guy who went behind the back gets attacked by the trucker. You never see his face, by the way. You never see the trucker's face. So mid-fight, the guy looks through the window of the back of this motel and realises that the guy has put a shotgun in the front of the girl's face tied to a chair. And it's sellotaped to the door handle. So if the door swings open, it's going to blow the shotgun.
Yeah.
So you're just watching this scene like, oh, because the guy's going through and trying to open all the doors to see which one his girlfriend's in. And then all of a sudden, he jumps through the window while being attacked and goes, no, don't open the door. And then you just see him get yanked back. And you're like, oh my god, what's happening? What's happening? And then the other guy goes round to the back. And his brother has been grabbed wire, wrapped it around the fence, and put it through his leg. And that's the only thing holding him off the floor, is a wire going straight through the muscles in his leg. And then, you know what happens? The cops turn up and they start breaking down every single door. So all of a sudden, he has to jump through this very small window. And just as they open the door, he grabs the girl in the chair and slams her to the ground, and a shotgun blast goes off, and that's all I'm going to tell you about the film, because we have to watch that film. It is such a slow build-up of tension, but it's that tension where it's like, if I was in that situation, I would not know what to do, you know? But it's two human characters, like, they fucked about with a prank. It went too far. They act like actual brothers. There's funny scenes with them at bars, you know?
The lesson is, don't prank anybody.
Yeah. And oh my god, anytime I see a truck, all I can think about is candy cane. Candy cane. And
I feel like I've heard you say that to me, just like, I'm meant to be getting the reference, and I'm just not.
Definitely have when you play like GTA. I'm in a truck chasing you, and I'm just going candy cane. We need to watch that film. It's the slow build-up of tension that really gets me. It's that there's fun kills, there's scenes that I've never known that I wanted or have seen before, you know? That thing where it's a sign by sign and you read it and you're like, oh no. Like, I've never seen that before, and it's great. You know? And by the way, you see the guy without no jaw. He's in hospital being kept alive, and it slow zooms on his face. And he's just missing the entirety of his bottom jaw. And you're like,
just let him die at that point.
No, thank you. You know?
Yeah.
So there you go. There's one of my S tier films that I will watch every single time I have the DVD in my room. You know?
If you want to watch a film.
Yeah, that's the film I'm going to watch. Like, if someone came to me and was like, oh, let's watch a really suspenseful horror film, I would put that shit on. You know?
Yeah.
So everyone, go out and watch Roadkill or Joyride. It's one of those two names. Oh, it's great. And this is the only thing I've ever watched Paul Walker in, and he's great in it. And by the way, there's a really good, convincing girl's voice.
Well then.
Go on then, you talk about one of yours. So that's one of my S tier films.
So you've gone for really suspenseful horror. By the way, you can probably tell by my list eventually I only watched one type of horror movie.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. I don't know why. This changes varying on my mood whether I even enjoy this film.
Yeah.
But New Nightmare.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Yeah.
I like that film. I like it quite a bit.
Like, sometimes I'll watch it and I'll be like, why ever watch this?
Yeah.
And other times I'll watch it, but this is the best film I've ever watched.
It's so meta. I love it.
Yeah.
Like Robert England's character, the woman who plays like, I think her name's Nancy
it's like,
or something. Yeah.
It's all like these were films in this universe,
Yeah, I couldn't even.
but he's come to the real world.
Yeah, and there's like I can't even explain it. Like to the people watching,
it's like they're
have
making
to
like
go
a
and
Freddy
watch it.
glove for like a new film, and the glove kills somebody.
Yeah. You just have to go and watch that film, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
It's a solid movie.
And that's
if you're in the right mood.
And that's where 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. That comes from New Nightmare. Because like.
Yeah, before it was just a. No, they have had it in the rest of it, haven't they?
It appears in Friday, Freddy versus Jason. Do you know why? Because it came.
I don't know. I've never watched these films in the right order.
It came out after New Nightmare. That's why. Because what? Because the boy keeps saying it, like the young boy who's possessed by Freddy almost.
The actress's like kid or whatever it was.
Yeah. You just need to go watch that film. It's got some great scenes in it where it's like, you think like, the shot I always remember is a earthquake happens and then she looks on the wall and there's 4 claw marks going all the way through her wall. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
And
what I like about it, I can say this now before we move on. It's like one of the main problems I have with horror movies is like, oh, it's just a movie, it's whatever. And this was like, it was a movie in this universe, but it's come out of the movie.
Yeah, and it's like, the director of the film is also a character, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, at one point, the film start blending in with the real world. Like, the character starts calling people, like...
Oh, yeah, like her dad. Like, the guy who played her dad starts calling her...
Nancy, and it's like, why are you calling me that? And then he turns into Freddy, and it's like... Eh. And that scene where the boy is in the hospital, and he looks up, and Freddy Krueger in a huge trench coat and a hat is looking at him, but he's standing on the ceiling. I'm like, oh, that's great.
It's got to be one of my favourite Freddy looks in that film.
Yeah, because do you know what it's based off?
What?
It's based off Wes Craven's original idea for Freddy, because it was based
on
the
original concept art.
Because it was based on a homeless guy who scared him, who was wearing a fedora, a red and green top, and a huge trench coat. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, that film's good. You and Freddy, man.
I don't even like Freddy Krueger that much.
Yeah, I feel like in that film he's the most scary.
Yeah, his other films, I'm like, creative kills, but the filming good.
In the first film, he's scary. In the rest, he's funny.
Yeah.
Except from New Nightmare.
But then I could never watch the original then, looking at him scary, because I know what he is.
Yeah, I get.
Apart from this one, where he's terrifying.
That's why I think it helps that they changed the design a bit.
Yeah,
you know?
It looks different.
Yeah.
It's not like creepy like the reboot Freddy, but...
No. And I've watched that reboot, and I'm not a huge fan. Like, I like the actor who plays Freddy and stuff. But
and he looks like he looks a bit more like a genuine burn victim than this one.
Yeah, which I'm like, that's fun to play with, but then... Well, we're definitely going to do a video ranking those films. If we ever watch them all.
I've watched them all.
I haven't.
But,
I've barely watched any of them.
Couldn't tell you what happens in them all.
I'll tell you exactly what happens to them all. A bunch of people start having nightmares, and Freddy kills them. There you go. You know? It's like, same thing.
Basic story. That's where they walk in every meeting, pitch me in for those films.
Yeah. Okay. On the idea of repetitive movies, let's talk about one of my favourite franchises. Can't even say it's just my favourite film. Final Destination.
Yeah.
It's the same film every single time, but holy hell, I love it. The first
I've never watched the films, but I've seen a reaction to the whole franchise.
We need to watch them and rank them. Like, all these, like films get their own podcast, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just so good. Well, not a lot of them are good. The first one's actually a good horror film. The rest are
Yeah.
all a bit doo-doo.
All I know is that Wind is the arch nemesis of every person in that film.
I know exactly who you've watched. I know exactly what video you've watched. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, well.
But we need to watch them all, because sometimes the scenes are suspenseful, and then other times it's funny. And no matter what it is, I still enjoy them. You know? Like, I can list practically every single death, every single, like, accident that happens, you know?
Well, we ain't got enough time for that.
Yeah, but it's just exactly how much I've watched them. And by the way, this is going to be split up, my films, into films I found as like an adult, which I love, which I like to analyse and essay, and then other films that I watched as a kid that I love because of that reason. Joyride / Roadkill is one of them.
The only person who has a nostalgia trip from a kid for horror movies.
Yeah. Like, Joyride is one of them, Final Destination is one of them, and while we're on the topic of trucks hunting people down, I'm just going to talk about this because I've got more than you. Jeepers Creepers. Yeah. I love the film. Because you haven't watched it, have you? I'm going to say this is the first and second one are probably my favourite films of all time.
I'll say all I know about that franchise is everything you've told me, and that's it.
Yeah. But we need to watch it. There's not a lot I can say about it. I love the monster. I love the build-up of tension. The first one's a suspense film. The second one tries to be like Nightmare on Elm Street style thing. The killer instantly attacks. Boom. The killer is licking windows and stuff on the bus. You know? There is a scene where they're all lined up on the bus and Jeepers Creepers is upside down on the back of the bus, swiping through them. And they're all sitting down as he swipes away. And then he comes across the one black kid. He points, finger guns, winks, and then licks the entirety of the window. And the guy is shitting himself. And I know...
That's creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
I know there's stuff like about the director being not a great person, but I'm one of the people who can take the writer or a director or an artist away from the thing they've created.
Yeah, their work's their work. If it's good, it's good. No matter, don't care what they did outside. Like, they can stop them from doing other stuff, but like...
We're definitely going to do a podcast on Jeepers Creepers as a franchise, because there's a new one coming out soon, and there's a comic that I hate and we need to talk about.
Oh yeah, I'm not allowed to read that.
Yeah, not allowed. Not yet. So everyone, go out, watch Jeepers Creepers. It's great. Not you, Dan. You're not allowed.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Go for a next one.
My next one?
Yeah.
So, the original.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say like Saw 4 or Saw 5. But no.
Nah, they got like good kills, but the story sucks.
Yeah. Because after the first one, they all become... Oh, yeah, let's see, all these people get killed randomly. But the first one was 2 people trapped in a room, and I loved it. You know?
Yeah. I don't like where the franchise goes, because the trap... Like, it starts off as like, oh, these people need to learn a lesson, and they could escape if they, like, do this or that. And then it turns into, no, they can't escape.
Yeah. No, you can't. And I
know with this one, it's like they're in the room, and, like, if he didn't get the key straight away, he's dead, but...
Yeah, but it's just a
That's a bit stupid, but...
crafted film altogether than all the rest. You know? It's like 2 people in a room. That usually sounds boring, but the entire time I'm invested, sort of thing, you know?
Yeah. You're just finding out stuff about them and how they're bad people.
Yeah.
And...
There's fun twists as well, like the killer has been on the floor the entire time, which is stupid, but sure, it's fun.
Yeah, but it makes it look sick when he gets up and he says game over and just
the door. Bro. Game over.
And the music is getting intense.
Saw has the best horror movie theme ever. And that is just true. Oh. Personally, I can't even say a lot about it. I just know that I like it, you know?
Yeah, it's a solid movie. It does, like, set up, like, some sequels with, like, the girl and, like, he has, like... makes her like his apprentice near enough, and
but I'm like, no, you push that franchise way too far. You know?
Yeah, like they killed him off in the third one, the main guy, and then just kept it going.
Yeah. So like that guy's dead for
and then
half
he's been
of the
in everyone
franchise.
since.
He's dead halfway through. I'm just
Yeah.
like, ugh.
It's like the franchise. It sucks as it gets through. It gets worse and worse. The latest one, like Jigsaw, is it's alright. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, I found Jigsaw okay. It's not as
Yeah,
bad
it's
as
not
like
as good as the original,
Saw
and
4.
I am interested in the new one.
Yeah, because it's so different. You know?
And I don't think it has. Does it have the main guy,
I don't think so.
whatever his name is?
Yeah, I know
Jigsaw
what you're on
himself?
about. I don't know. I don't know anything. But I just want to watch it. You know?
Yeah. And we can do a Saw podcast when that comes out.
Yes, and we'll definitely rank all of these.
This is like turning into like we're gonna pitch what our other podcasts are gonna be.
Yeah, because like if we sat down and watched all of these franchises could be their own videos talking about like ranking them and reviewing them and stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. Next one. Do you want a ghost film, a monster film, or a thriller? Choose.
Go for a monster film.
Motherfucking Descent. Have you ever heard of this film?
No.
Okay, I'm just going to talk about it then. I'll tell you the plot. Like, 6 women go to a cave. That's pretty much it. One woman's dealing with the death of her husband and child. So her and all of her friends take a trip and they go caving. Turns out that they go to a cave that no one has ever been to before because one of the friends is douchey enough to send them there, so they don't have a map, no one knows they're there, that sort of thing, yeah?
Yeah.
And they go in, like, the girls are trying to go through really tight things, and one girl, like, gets stuck, and they force her out. So about 30 minutes is a slow build-up of tension, like, oh my god, this is such a claustrophobic horror sort of situation. And the main girl's seeing stuff this entire time, like things move in the cave, different horrors, and they get stuck and they can't go back. Which is my worst nightmare, holy hell. And they're like, oh my god, I'm like, what's happening? We're not going to be able to escape, we're going to die down here. And then you get to this one shot, which scares me every time. One woman's recording in night vision. And then, just like down the corridors, and like not corridors, like the cave system to try and find out where they're going. And then all of a sudden, she turns it to her friend, and behind her friend is a creature that looks like a man, pale white skin, snarling bat-like face, just over her, just staring at her.
Okay.
Just stood right behind her, staring at the back of her head. Instantly, and it's the only jump scare that I think works. Because it's not a fake out. There's barely any build-up of tension towards it. It's just, oh, this is just a fun scene. This is, oh, well, not fun, but it's like, oh no. And then boom. And then it never stops from that moment on. That scene is chaotic.
Jump scare to initiate it.
Yeah. And it is the most perfect. Because you think you're just watching a film about people going into a cave. Because that's all it's been so far. You know?
Yeah.
And then, so it's these creatures that can, it's meant to be they're people who, they're cavemen who never left the cave. So they evolved into like bat-like creatures that use sound to find their prey and stuff.
They evolved backwards, pretty much. Into the like weird cave
Yeah,
creatures.
to like animalistic monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's just the women versus them for the entire time. And still trying to get out, by the way.
Yeah.
You know? I'm just going to spoil some of
the way you came.
No,
yeah, spoiler alert.
While they were stuck in the cave, they pulled out their friend because the boulder above them started shifting downwards. And then as they pulled him out, it all collapsed. I don't know, it's just the way they came in collapsed. So they can't get back out. You know?
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
There's a scene where they have to go from one edge of a cliff to another, and there's about a 50-foot drop straight down. So one of them has to climb along the top of it and start putting in hooks so they can all go across rope. Kind of thing. Oh my god, so intense. Doesn't even have a monster in the scene. Just intense. You know? I'm just going to spoil this. one of the main characters, freaking out with a pickaxe in her hand. Like, do you know the thing they climb with? She's holding one of them, and then she hears a noise behind her, and she swings wildly, and she stabs one of her own friends through the neck, thinking it was one of the monsters. And then there's just a 5-minute scene where she slowly drowns on her own blood. And the woman can't do anything to stop it. Can't do anything to stop it, you know? And oh my god, the drama between the characters. It's like a drama between the characters and then this cave and then the creatures. It all just builds up into this huge horror show that is terrifying. Yeah. You know? There's a sequel to it which brings the main character back, but it's not as good. So don't watch that one. Watch the first one. Yeah, we have to watch that as well.
Yeah.
Because those... Oh.
You've just set up our commentaries for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Or we bothered starting that.
Yeah. It's just so good. You know? It's just one of those films where you watch it and you're just like, you're invested from the beginning to the end. And when...
It's not like, straight into it, is it?
Yeah. Well, no, there's this really slow build-up at the beginning. But it gives you character. It gives you the setting, you know? And then also the monsters. Boom. Entire film kicks off.
So if you haven't watched the trailer, you just thought, oh, that looks interesting.
Yeah. There's one scene which still scares me where two girls are in the cave and they're hugging each other as the creature slowly walks past. Like, it crawls up the walls and stuff. And they're trying to be as quiet as they can. And it's like, oh my god. And at one moment, their watch starts to go off, like a time thing.
Yeah.
And just her struggling to get off this watch as a creature just runs towards them, a Mach 3 on its hands and feet. It's like, oh my god. There's a scene where, like, 3 girls fall into this pool of muddy water. And you're like, what the hell is this? And they're both, like, panicking. And they're like, oh my god, it smells so bad. And then you see one of the creatures crawl along the wall and shit into this pool. And they've got to be quiet the entire time. And it's horrific. It's horrific. The end scene is a scene, like a cave, bones covering the entire floor. Oh, it's just beautiful. And the entire time, you believe you're in a cave. They are not in a cave. They are in a soundstage in Hollywood. But no, you believe you're in a cave. You know? That's what adds to the film. So there you go. There's Descent. Oh, I want to watch all of these films now. Go on, what's your next one?
You know what you're doing with your afternoon.
Yeah.
My next one is Halloween. The new one, though. The 2018 one.
Okay.
Yeah,
explain.
I don't even know if you've seen it.
I have. I've seen the Halloween, the first one, Halloween 2, Halloween H2O, and then the newest Halloween. So a lot of Halloween.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've seen them all for some reason.
Yeah.
I went through, like, a slasher, like, thing in, like, 2 years ago.
You had a phase. So why do you like this one more than some of the other ones?
I like this one because the original one, like, I like it, but it's a bit slow.
Yeah.
But, like, not much happens, a bit slow.
Yeah.
This one, I like it, gets straight into it. There's no messing about.
I get that.
Straight into it. Michael Myers still as scary as ever. Still doing his creepy stalky thing and walking in people's houses and killing people.
Yeah.
It's crappy podcasters because no one likes podcasters.
That's true, you know. That could have been us.
Yeah, that's us in 10 years.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other reasons why?
Like Laurie Strode as her character. I think it worked better with having PTSD.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What they tried doing with her in other films.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, I like that film only for a couple of reasons. But it's not one of those films I would turn on, you know? Like, I've watched it once and I was like, oh yeah, that's fun.
I think I've watched it like 3 times.
Yeah. The part of that film I like is where it's so... If you watch Halloween 1 and go straight into this new Halloween, it is fun. Because of all the things they do. Where it's like, Mike Myers will throw Laurie Strode out the window. He'll turn around, look back, and just like the original, but instead of Mike Myers disappearing, it's Laurie Strode, and it plays the Halloween theme like Mike Myers should be scared. And I'm like, oh, that is great.
Yeah.
And the idea of him making a trap house
Yeah, she's like fully prepared for it.
Yeah. And that sort of thing where she's like locking off rooms, she's doing all of this, she's got more weapons than needed.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The last half an hour of that film, I love. The rest, do not care about. Don't care about the family stuff.
I kind of feel bad for the husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor man was just like, he just mind his own business.
Yeah. That's the thing.
His good guy died.
The first, when you were introduced to the podcasters and then they die, 2 great scenes.
Yeah.
Then the last
like
3
the hands
minutes.
coming over the toilet and he drops the teeth.
Oh, I'm like, bleh, bleh. And then I love, he kills the guy by just grabbing his head and hitting it against the one thing until he's just down and out for the count, you know? But then for me, it's like 40 minutes is just blur. Because I don't care about the characters, don't care about the drama. But then I like...
characters are always a problem in those types of films.
I love when the girl looks out the window and instead of Mike Myers stood there, it's Laurie Strode.
Oh, it's Laurie.
And I'm like, that's good.
The whole film was just one Michael did in the original, just Laurie instead.
And the rivalry between them is fun. And honestly, my favourite bit happens within the last 5 minutes. Where the woman's holding a shotgun going, Mom, Mom. And then Mike Myers steps out and he goes, got you, motherfucker. And then just shoots him in the face. And he's like, oh. It's like, that is great.
Jesus.
And I watched it with my girlfriend.
I like the Laurie had a kid, and then she's like so like traumatized from what happened that one night that she fully prepared a kid for it and everything.
Yeah, and I watched it with my girlfriend, and during the entire thing, we were so hyped that they were fucking up Michael. He's like, yes, do it! Like when they trap them in the basement as it all catches on fire, and he's just looking up, and he's just. It's like, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah, I thought it was the last one going into this year. I thought it was the last one. They're not doing any more.
Yeah,
like, if they
and
do
now
more,
they're making a new one, and I'm like, okay,
but like,
whatever.
When it ended, and it was like, oh, maybe he's dead, but like, and then it played that like music, but quietly, and I'm like, he's not dead.
Yeah, and then it cuts
it's
to
like breathing as well.
Yeah, and it cuts to the granddaughter holding a bloody knife, and you're like, wait a minute. So it's like it could be anything, you know, but
Michael Myers isn't dead. He's definitely coming back.
Yeah. Okay.
Like they got rid of the whole thing, like Laurie's his sister as well. Like, nah.
I can see why it would be one of your favorite horrors.
Yeah, and Michael's a brawler.
Oh yeah, it's probably my favorite version of Michael. Because to be honest,
an old man who's just brutal.
Yeah, and he acts more like Jason Voorhees. Usually, Mike Myers is like just stood perfectly still and just stabbing you. But then this one, he's like grabbing guys' faces and like slamming it into stuff. And that
he does the creepy like stand there in silence in the prison.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that still works. And that build up of all the other inmates panicking as if it's just an evil entity. Oh, that works. There you go. I can see why that's your favorite, like one of your favorite horrors. Okay, what should I talk about?
Go on.
Oh, now
You've got 2 more, haven't you?
I've got 3 more.
Oh well then.
I'll talk about. Because how many do you have? I can't remember what we've been talking about. Okay, I'll talk about 2 together because they're similar. Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, I was waiting for that to come up.
Yeah. If you know me, you know I love Hannibal Lecter as a character. Love the Hannibal show. That is my favourite show of all time. Silence of the Lambs is one of my favourite thriller. Technically, it's a thriller, but it's all under one umbrella for me. Silence of the Lambs is perfect. It's perfect in everything it does. The build-up of suspense, Hannibal Lecter as a character, the intricacies of the plot. Like, I've watched hours and hours of essays talking about Hannibal Lecter in that film. You know?
You just love that character.
I love the character, and I love that film. Like, and this, like, obviously there's the film Hannibal, that is a sequel, that isn't as good. There's the film Red Dragon, which is a prequel, which is pretty good. And it's got Edward Norton in it. And it's actually quite good. It's not on par with Silence of the Lambs, but it's close to a great thriller.
Yeah.
And then you get the show, which I would have loved to seen the show do Silence of the Lambs again, because I'm like, it's old enough now. Reboot it. Yeah. Do a new one. And do it with Mads Mikkelsen, otherwise I'll be pissed.
He wants to do it again anyway, I think.
Yeah. And it's like, there's nothing I can say right now which will persuade someone Like, oh yeah, this is why Silence of the Lambs is good. Like, you know Silence of the Lambs is good. Everyone does. Shut your mouth.
I haven't watched it.
You need to watch it. We need to watch a Hannibal.
I've watched like the first season of the TV show, and that's all I know about it.
We'll definitely
And
rank
that's
those
pretty
films
solid.
as well. Because there's 5 Hannibal Lecter movies. And we'll watch all
I
of them.
only learned like a few weeks ago when you were telling me about it that there was more than one.
Yeah. Go on. Yeah, there's nothing I can say about it. If you've watched it, you know why I like it. You know?
Yeah.
They're very similar. American Psycho. Have you ever watched that?
No, but I've heard of this one.
Christian Bale is a rich man he's such an egotist, such a hypocrite, wants more from his life. He hates everyone in it, but it's all deep within himself.
Yeah.
There's
Is
a
this
fight.
one where he's like really skinny?
No, I know what you're thinking about though. There's an entire scene where Christian Bale just slowly peels away a face mask, and he's just narrating it all, and I'm in awe the entire time. Honestly, it's the character. Don't care anything else. The kills are pretty boring. Except from when he like chases people with a chainsaw naked. I'm like, that's fair enough. That's fun. It's a film where I get to see Jared Leto get cut in half by an axe.
Well then.
I think the reason I like it gives me Hannibal Lecter vibes. You know? And that's pretty much the reason I like it. If you've watched it, you'll know why I like it. There we go. What's your next one? Yeah.
My next one, my last one. This might be a bit of a dodgy one because I don't think this one's liked very much.
Uh-oh.
Okay, yeah. But out of everything I said, this is probably my favourite one.
Uh-oh.
Of course, this one nobody likes.
Yeah,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, yeah.
Yeah.
But the 2003 reboot one.
I've never seen it.
It's pretty much the same as the original.
Is it just... Do you like the original?
I like the original, but it's very slow, and it hasn't aged well. It looks pretty crap.
Yeah. But
so it's like, because it looks so bad, like, when he's, like, coming out and he's killing people, it's like, it's so crap.
I've seen clips of the old film, and I like it, but I think that's more because I'm, like, an artist, so I can appreciate the work that's gone into every single scene, and I know the backstory behind the film and that, but I get
I know, like, in the original, like, he, like, comes out of the house and he grabs her and drags her back in.
Yeah.
That scream is genuine because they didn't tell her it was happening.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh. Like,
you wouldn't get away with that now. She would sue you.
Yeah. So why do you like the new one? Like, we know why you like the new one more, but what does the new one give, you know, to, like, slasher in it?
One, this is the first time I've genuinely crapped my pants watching a movie.
Really?
Yeah. One time, I was not prepared for it. Yeah, I thought it was going to be crap as but everyone says it sucks, everyone says it's not scary, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he comes out the thing, he smacks someone on the head, and I shat myself.
I've heard people say, like, it's okay. Like, is that the one where the girl shoots herself in the car at the beginning?
Yeah. I think she shot herself in the car.
I've heard people that it's, like, okay, but I'm like, it looks good, you know?
I don't know, like, it's similar to a Batman video that's out where I said I love Killer Croc, I just don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I get you.
So, I like the Texas Chainsaw franchise just because it's like, it doesn't usually focus on just one guy, it's the family.
Yeah. And do they do that in that film as well, do they?
Yeah, they're still really creepy as usual.
That's fun.
But it's not like some of the other ones where they go like, oh, we're all comedy, yeah, we're laughing.
Yeah,
no, this is creepy.
That'll probably be the only franchise that if me and you both watch, you'll know it more than me.
Yeah.
Because every other one, like, I'll know, like, the back of my hand.
I know they're doing a new one or something, or whatever, but
yeah,
they're rebooting it again.
There is so many of those films.
Yeah.
You know?
None of them are in continuity with each other. They reboot it every, like, 2 films.
Yeah. Fair enough.
One thing that does come in this, like, a bundle,
yeah,
is the prequel movie to this, which I watched it ass backwards and watched the prequel movie first.
Yeah.
I think it sets it up perfectly, leading in with, like, the characters, putting them in that situation. It gets for, like, the whole thing, like...
Is that the one called Leatherface?
No, it's Texas Chainsaw, the beginning. Leatherface, that sucks. It's like, Leatherface is like, oh, he's like this skinny kid and he's going on like a romantic journey across the country.
Yeah. Okay.
And they feed Iron Fist to the pigs.
Fair enough.
My favourite bit. And it's like the only thing, like, the way I watched it is it gets rid of like the twist where like, oh, the cop takes him, but the cop is actually a part of the family.
Yeah.
But like, that's
Fair enough. I
it's pretty
can't
solid.
say anything on it. Like I'm
I
more
crap my
excited to
pants
watch that.
and Leatherface murdered someone.
The only film you find actually scary. That's why I've got Descent, because that one jump scare, boom! I'm now scared of this film.
Just for me, Leatherface is the scariest of all the slashers, just because he's the closest to being real.
I get that. Yeah, because Jason.
And he is based on like a real person anyway.
Yeah. I get that.
And you know
Fair
I'm
enough.
obsessed with that man.
Big old Bubba. Okay.
Go on, what's your last one?
Very different to yours, because I love it because it's bad. 13 Ghosts. Based on a film from 1970 something.
Jesus Christ.
I'll just tell you about it. So, the film starts off with a guy, and you're like, why is everyone here? Why is there huge machinery and stuff in this like abandoned like car place? Like all the cars are stacked up onto each other, like on Haven from Dead by Daylight. That sort of thing. And then all of a sudden, the guy who plays Shaggy from the movies comes out. And he's panicking. And you're like, what the hell? Why is he panicking? And it turns out he's a psychic. He touches the floor and he goes, there is this number of bodies hidden underneath this floor. Sort of thing. And you're like, oh, okay. And then they put on these glasses. And then all of a sudden they look in front. And there's a huge, muscly guy stood there covered in blood, zombified. And he starts throwing people, throwing cars and all of this. And then they trap him within a huge cube, like room, covered in glass and scriptures and weird letters and all of that stuff. And you're like, okay, they're going to capture ghosts. And then the main guy dies. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you go to, like, a family inherits the building. And they go in there, and it's a building made out of glass. And it looks like a maze. It's horrific. And then one person goes downstairs and activates a machine. And they look down there, and there is 13 ghosts in this cube. And by the way, this isn't like, ooh, scary ghosts. These are ghosts that will attack you. They will slash you up. They will murder you. You know?
They're like the scary ghosts, but they'll probably leave you alone.
Yeah, no. Like, there's a girl who is a ghost who's completely naked the entire time, covered in, like, these gruesome cuts, who will murder the hell out of you. There's a guy with a hammer for a hand, who he tries to murder Shaggy so many times, tell you that much.
Poor Shaggy. What happened to Scooby-Doo?
Yeah. Yeah, this is Shaggy's, like, bad years.
This is his solo adventure.
It's so bad.
So he became a crackhead.
Yeah, the story, boring. The character's lame, except from Daniel,
Shaggy.
Whatever his character is. Because you feel so bad for him. Because anytime he touches something, he gets the horrors of it. So there is a scene where the main guy accidentally touches him, and he starts having an attack. But as he's having an attack, the guy keeps touching him more to see if he's okay. And you feel so bad for him. We need to watch this one as well. The editing is terrible, by the way. Worst editing I've ever seen in a film. So many flashes going on at all times. But the ghosts are so cool. They have a behind-the-scenes video describing every single backstory, all the character design aspects. I'm like, mwah, beautiful. You know? It's just fun. Yeah. I can't say anything else. It's people go... And by the way, the house keeps changing. Like, glass panes will come across and block you off, put you in a room you can't escape from. You know, that sort of thing. Where it's like, it keeps evolving the house. And, of course, the characters get split up. Because, of course.
Yeah, because they can never stay together.
Well, to be fair, at least in this one, it kind of makes sense. Because they all go, like, separate to go find their own rooms and stuff. Yeah. And then the building keeps changing. Like, Matthew Lillard,
also,
that's the guy
locked out from each other.
Matthew Lillard is the guy who plays Shaggy. He gets separated from one person just because the room they're in starts to close. And they both quickly run in different directions, thinking that the other is behind them. You know? And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Characters would do that.
Panic and run.
It's so cheesy, so bad, But my God, I want to watch it every single day. You know? And it's mostly for Matthew Lillard's character and the ghosts. Like, I don't care about anything else. Not gonna lie. There's some fun imagery as well. Yeah, because the whole thing is that you have to wear these special glasses to see the ghosts.
Yeah.
But there's only like 3 pairs of glasses in the house.
That's
you know? And there's like a group of 6 of them in this house.
Well, sacrifice 3.
Yeah, that's what you would do. You'd just be like, oh, there's no glasses for you, murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got the 6 versus 3 glasses. I'm holding a pair, so you could lock and fight over the 2.
Yeah. And there's scenes where like one of them isn't wearing the glasses but is trapped in the room with a ghost. So there's a person on the other side of the glass wearing the glasses going, duck, left, go right, you know, as the ghost like is swinging at them. I'm just like, oh, it is fun. We need to watch it. There you go. There is our top 15, 12, 13, 10, 7 horror films of all time. I don't know.
You said 5 each and then done about 15, so...
Well, to be fair, a lot of them worked within each other, you know?
Yeah.
Fair enough. There you go. So that is our favourite horror films. I don't know. What do people say? Tell us if you like them, if you watch them. I don't know. But we recommend all of these, I'd say. Well, maybe not some on my list. Like 13 Ghosts you probably won't like. Like Final Destination is pretty boring. Jeepers Creepers 2, But then I love them all. I just do.
Yeah.
From like an exploring thing of me like analysing them, I'm like, no, these films suck. But as my nostalgia and everything for them, I'm like, oh, these films are great. Yeah. So I hope you liked us discussing our favourite horrors. Thank you for listening.